All right, ladies, here we are. We are live in our BooB Camp community. We have 80,000 women in our BooB Camp community, just saying. I think we're quite popular. Um, Loving having these discussions on lipedema. And of course, we can't do that without these two beautiful ladies, Holly and Melissa. Like, thank you so much for putting your hand up because, it's hard enough to speak about life now because there is so much going on. But then you add in the extra layer of having lipedema. Okay. And look at you both. You're both the most beautiful, smiley, happy, joyful girls. But there is something underneath, right? That there's an undercurrent there. There's an underthought. And we're going to talk about that today. And so if you're listening along, please give these two girls the biggest love and support and messages because this is hard. This is hard, but I know they are so passionate and they're going to put their personal, shame and thoughts and all of those things behind them because they need to spread the message and to help others. Have I got that right, girls?
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So, Holly, if we can start with you, please. So, you're a fellow naturopath.
I
Um,
am.
yeah. And can you run me through a little bit of your story, please? So, and because this is about relating. This is about not feeling alone. This is about making sure that other ladies who have gone through the journey can also do you ever I don't want to put words into your mouth, but accepting like where we're at now and then being hopeful. And
Absolutely.
then we'll get to Melissa as well and talking about being hopeful too. So, Holly, if you wanted to talk a little bit about yourself, please.
Yeah, thanks, Chelsey. So I'm a naturopath and a Kahuna massage therapist, and I was diagnosed with lipedema about a year ago. And I was just telling you before we started this that I think I've been thinking about my weight or dieting for almost every day since I was 15 in some form or another. So I was aware at a young age that my body was a little bit different to other girls, and I even had those pea-sized nodules underneath in my fat tissue way back then.
Mm, yeah.
And I had no idea about lipedema until a few years ago. I had a lot of the classic signs of really easily bruising and bigger legs and having to really, really just work hard to try and lose weight or maintain any weight loss.
Yeah, and even going through like being a naturopath and going through all
Yeah.
of the study,
Yeah.
it was never a thing, was it? We'll
No,
never get.
I don't remember hearing about it. No, until I had a beautiful client come and ask me about it, and that started my journey, and then into wanting to support more women. So I see a lot of women with lipedema in my clinic, and I use your beautiful practices and massage and the compression and I've got an infrared sauna. So I sort of combine treatments now to just really support women with where they're at on their lipedema journey.
Yeah.
And it's been huge. When I was diagnosed 12 months ago, I got really angry. So I was, yeah, and I knew I had it already, but still, I call it my diagnosis darkness.
Angry at
So,
who, Holly? Angry at who?
yeah, angry at the fact that this was it now. I just felt like, even though I knew all the things I needed to do to support myself, I thought, I don't want to have to do that every day for the rest of my life. It's not fair. I've already been struggling with this forever. And now I have to do all these things like anti-inflammatory diet and eat low carb and wear compression and do my gloves and my massaging and if I'm lucky. So the message I really got was it's not going to get better and it'll probably get worse. And if you want to do something about it, go and see a surgeon. So at the time, that was the message that I got, and I thought that's not good enough. And as a naturopath, we know it's never just about a diagnosis and a condition, like one label. There's always so much more going on. And I've always just been hugely dedicated to diving in deeper into that and saying, okay, what else is happening? What else? What else? And keep asking the questions.
Mm.
So I did that for myself. Yeah.
So Mel, I'm going to bring you in now so we can like tell your beginning of the story because when we first started talking, you were just like, I am angry too,
Yeah,
right?
very angry.
Mm.
Yeah. So for my journey, I've always been more of a fuller child. So big arms and big legs and very curvy, thinking, oh, I'm just the Italian genetics, I've got the curve. But as I was exercising, as I became a gymnast, a dancer, I played every sport under the sun. My body still was changing and it was going up and down. The moment that I got my period, very young, under 15, I just started to notice changes. But I noticed that I bruised all the time. And mum kept saying, oh, your skin's always been sensitive. You've always been so delicate, but not knowing that it was lipedema. So I went to a doctor. I remember I was 15. I went in and I said, look, there's something wrong with me. I don't eat very much. I don't have a huge appetite, but I'm always tired and I'm always bruising and I'm always getting really fat around my legs and my backside. And they went, oh, we'll check your thyroid. Straight away, came back. Everything's perfect. You're so fit. You're so healthy. Nothing wrong with you. Off you
I'm
go.
surprised. I'm surprised they didn't say, "Oh, let's go on the pill."
They did.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
because
they
that's
did because I had endometriosis,
yes,
right? So I was
that's
diagnosed at 15 with
that's the answer
endometriosis.
to everything.
Yeah. So they put me on the pill. The thing is,
Oh,
the pill made me awfully sick because I have high estrogen. Even to this point at 54, I'm very high in my estrogen, very low in testosterone. So off I go to another doctor, and he had the audacity to say to me, oh, you've just got the fat gene.
okay.
Left it at that. So by then, I thought, I'm so angry. I'm on a mission. I'm calorie counting. I'm doing Tough Mudder. I'm doing kickboxing. I'm doing CrossFit. And I was getting firm. But people kept saying, oh, if only your arms and your legs could tone up, you'd be perfect. So my mental health came in. So by the time I went around and was dismissed by so many doctors, I went to Chelsey Jean's Law. I went up to Queensland. I met beautiful Nikki and she said, come to Melbourne and come and check out my clinic. And that's when she said, I think you've got lipedema, dear. And then I started to research, found a GP, and was only diagnosed a month ago. I was fuming. And I think it was grief. It was grief of the inner child. It was grief of the amount of time, money, and confusion I spent. So then I got angry, and now I'm like, I want to reclaim. And there's hope for recovery, but I want to reclaim it now. So that's where I'm at the moment.
What do you think, ladies, if you had a diagnosis earlier, what do you think would be different than what you actually did? Like, do you think you would have trained as hard and I don't want to say abused your body as much, but it's still like what do you think you would have done differently if you would have been diagnosed at 15?
Holly, did you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So I think for me, it would have probably started my journey into self acceptance and self love a lot sooner rather than continuously comparing myself to other people and thinking that my body should look like theirs and that there's something I must be doing wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm really lucky, I guess, that I did start studying naturopathy when in my early 20s because overall I've really lived a lifestyle that's probably pretty low inflammatory, really good food and proteins. I still love a glass of wine. That's probably my big thing. But other than that, my diet, I think, has been really anti-inflammatory, probably a lot of time on ketogenic or low carb kind of lifestyles, and a big emphasis on detoxification as well. So I guess I'm lucky in that way because I really don't get a lot of the pain symptoms that other women definitely get. The tenderness and lack of mobility from the pain hasn't really impacted me, which the surgeon was pretty blown away by.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, really that self-acceptance, and yeah, we'll talk more later, I'm sure, but that's a common theme that I've really noticed in the beautiful women that I've been supporting.
I think when you look at ladies with lipedema, you can see the ones who have had the low, inflammatory diets and have looked after themselves and have taken the healthier route. But we're not seeing that with this younger generation. We're seeing lots of alcohol, lots of drugs, lots of takeaway foods, lots of chemicals, lots of like chemicals on the body, lots of poisons.
Yeah.
I'm really scared for this generation coming, the girls that are teenagers or in their young 20s now. I am really scared for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll just say quickly as well, I am stage 2 to 3 and have lipedema, fat tissue, and the nodules over most of my body. And you can feel them, you can palpate them and see them. I just haven't had a lot of that pain.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
for me too, the thing that I would have changed is self-acceptance, being shy at the swimming pool, being shy going on holidays, because winter, I looked fantastic, right? I was so confident in winter, and I'm thinking, no one can see how fit I am, and my pain had reduced. The moment it came into spring, I was like, oh, okay, I'm starting to see a little bit of swelling. By summer, I was a completely size and a half bigger than what I was in winter. And I couldn't wear the shoes. I couldn't wear, my clothing. So I literally had two wardrobes. And that was where the confusion was, where if I had known now the compressions have just been introduced into my life and I sleep with them and I wear them throughout the day and they're worth it, But I think also it's more about me not having to justify why my body looked the way that it did. And I did all the time to people, and I was always making excuses for myself, but not understanding why I felt like I was dragging my legs down the street. Like, why am I feeling so uncomfortable in my own body? I felt like I was being hijacked. So I think for me, it also would be the fact that I did have a daughter first with my pregnancy, where there is a link with the lipedema, and I jumped from 65 kilos to 112, believe it or not. And the doctors were
Wow.
going, you're eating, you're eating. I was so sick, but I was just inflamed and inflamed. And that inflammation marker stayed true after she was born. So for me, I became a registered nutritionist. I became an integrative facialist. I became a mental health advocate. But I think I should have basically backed away from all the exercise. That's where I made the mistake. I was adding more inflammation, even though my bloods were great and my food was great. I was pushing my body to the limits that it wasn't recovering.
Okay. Yeah. That's what we can talk about now, about being nice to you, being gentle to you, and the acceptance, because we find out a lot when ladies are diagnosed, they go into this anger, this self-hate, this angry at everything, and that's just going to cause a lot more inflammation. And they might jump from a stage 2 to a 3 or whatever to up to a 4. Even if we can just talk today on a little bit of like understanding what lipedema is, what adds to it, and then also the mental health side of things, because from my research, there is a trauma that is related to a hormonal change, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Where do you think we start?
Well, Holly, did you want to start with the internal part? Then I can, because the gut, brain, skin link, the axis is real. So do you want
Yeah.
to start internally and we can go?
Yeah. So I think, as Chelsey said, we know that there's a hormonal aspect. And from what I have learned recently about lipedema, they're looking at it almost more as an adipofacial disorder. So looking at the connective tissue around the fat cells, which becomes hardened. And then we get all these other problems with signaling between the fat tissue and the brain and our bodies, and then it creates this extra sort of inflammation around around those fat cells. And I think you talked about the trauma, Chelsey. So we know that estrogen is probably involved. And when we look at those fat cells as well, that fat tissue itself starts to produce estrogen, which actually switches on the cells that make more of this hardened connective tissue that becomes fibrotic. And then that then as that happens more, that presses on our nerves. So we get more pain, and then we get more substance P and more inflammatory pain markers. And it just becomes this huge, big loop.
Mm.
So then,
The
yeah,
leaking, the
yeah,
leaking of the
linking
Yeah.
the
protein.
leaking. Yeah, the
Yeah.
leaky vessels. So then, our lymphatic system is definitely implicated. So I'm finding it fascinating actually as a naturopath, because I love the kind of biochemical pathway stuff with lipedema. It's fascinating. But also, I really always believe that when you step back from that physical sort of cause and understanding, there is always an emotional aspect to all disease as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I've seen often there's a history of a trauma, whether it's a sexual assault or didn't feel comfortable in your body as you were developing hormonally. Maybe you didn't like the attention that you were getting, or had a negative experience with boys at school. Uh, and we know as well, it's not just that sort of trauma. So often it can be from a surgery or a family member going through some serious conditions. So there definitely seems to be an acceleration, though, with stress and trauma, and during these hormonal phases of our lives, like either puberty or when we're having babies, pregnancy, perimenopause, and then again at menopause. Yeah. Do you want to continue on from there, Melissa?
Yeah. So there's also been a little bit of a link with a lot of women that have got lipedema, and obviously with the mental health aspect, we know anxiety kicks in. We understand that there is depression. Women are more susceptible to anxiety than men. It is higher, it's prevalent within for women, but also when you're going through misdiagnosis, like going to a doctor, you're actually being gaslit, and you're also gaslighting yourself. There's a bit of talk around ADHD linked also as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of that going on too. A lot of people need to be diagnosed. That's why they get diagnosed later in life. When you're masking it with menopause and perimenopause, it's this crossover of confusion for people. So mental health really plays a big havoc, but also the financial. So I look at the spiritual health, the physical health, the mental health, and how once we're feeling like we're over capsized, so we're rowing and rowing to a destination, and then our course is going off center. So having the right support unit around you is absolutely so important, but making sure that your allied health professionals understand lipedema. Like if you are going to a counselor or a psychotherapist, and if you are going to a psychologist, that they understand women's health, because you can sit there and unpack as much as you want, but it becomes a complex trauma to me, because you're adding on all these things that existed from a very young age. Even your intimacy, you'll find that as your body starts to change, you just don't want to be intimate as much, not for all. This is just what I've understood from my studies. People pull back. They don't want to have that. I don't feel beautiful. I don't feel sexy. I don't feel desirable. I will avoid looking at a mirror. There's all these things that play up, even work. Sitting at a desk has become the new smoko. It's actually creating cardiovascular disease. So we're sitting down, we're not getting that lymphatic system going. Burnout's happening through this. We're getting people with sleep deprivation, and sleep hygiene is so important. So, and then you find that the body, the hips, everything is just holding in because your fascia is becoming so dehydrated. Drinking water and sipping, I always say to people, sip your water like it's a martini, but put a dash of Celtic salt, or you've got to have your magnesium in there, because your fascia just keeps drying up and getting dehydrated. How is your lymphatic system going to be flowing and dancing within your body? And then you'll find that there's so much lack of magnesium that mental health is going to become more apparent. So it's one of those things where it's almost like a hope to recovery step program. This is how it started. This is where I'm at. What do I want to get out of this? And become your own advocate. Like, just don't take no for an answer, and really journal your emotions. The moment you start writing things down, it starts to go. And the only one thing between consciousness and subconscious is your breath. So reducing your stress, reducing that somatic therapy, moving that body as best we can is going to help support us for the recovery.
Yes. So
Absolutely.
a
Yeah.
lot of people would know Louise Hay
Yeah.
and or the emotional books that
Yeah.
every ailment that's going on in our body, there is a an emotional side to it. And when it comes to the lymphatic system, she talks about there is a disconnection from joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Does that mean
Yes.
something for you ladies?
Well, I've gone to pottery. I've become a mad potter because I've had to slow down my mind. Anxiety for me, I do have adjustment disorder. So anxiety for me is real. I am being tested for ADHD. I am being tested for all neurodivergency because of this. So I'm really going deep, but pottery has slowed me down. Glazing has slowed it down in terms of getting in that play therapy, hence probably why I'm an emerging psychotherapist and counselor, because I know that if I work on me, then whatever I'm doing, I know you're gonna find that joy. So fill your joy cup first and give everybody the saucer. That's what I say.
Yeah. And
Holly?
I think, yeah, I can relate to that, but even more so, and we've talked about it before, Chelsey, but women with lipedema often seem to be the carers and the nurturers. And perhaps with boundary issues and have just taken on all of this messaging, either from externally, from people in their lives, or even internally, like you were saying, Melissa, just the constant kind of self-criticism
Yeah.
about why doesn't my body look like this? But it's a pattern that I've definitely seen. Yeah, in almost every woman that I've treated with lipedema. And I think as well, you talked about stress. So just even looking at, stress, we know it's not just affecting the brain and our emotions. When we live with chronic stress, it starts to impact every area of our lives. And the impact on insulin resistance, for example. So long-term stress, raising your blood glucose, and then we end up with insulin resistance. And insulin resistance, obviously, and obesity, different to lipedema. I think the last time I looked, about 50% of women with lipedema also have insulin resistance or obesity. But we do know that once you are insulin resistant, your body is going to find it so much more difficult to lose weight and to get the fat out of those cells. So really, looking at the impact of chronic stress on our systems, and we're also stressed. This world is crazy these days. So finding ways to really target your treatments at that level, and yeah, I think it's going to be amazing that you have such an understanding personally with the work you do, and then living with lipedema as well.
I think
So
too, sorry.
sorry, you go, Mel.
I was just going to say, if I could put out one message to women with lipedema and you happen to have the Uber app on your phone, I encourage you to disconnect, because takeaway food, processed food, you don't know the hidden seed oils that are in the food, and they are marking your inflammatory response. So, try and go back to ancestral, even if it's just protein and veg.
Yeah,
Just keep it simple, but you've got to really make a conscious lifestyle choice. And this is not a dietary thing. This is just to remove those things that are going to add extra pressure and stress to your body, but also for your physical and emotional self.
I would love it if you girls could come together and come up with, you know how on our information sheet on our brochure we have like all these positive affirmations around the outside?
Mm.
How cool would it be just to have some special affirmations for lipedema? Because
yeah,
the
Yeah.
stories that we're telling ourselves in our head, we need to change. Well, the
Yeah.
lipedema ladies need to change. So how beautiful would it be to come up with some positive affirmations for our lipedema ladies? Because like you
absolutely.
said, Mel, like just to get in with that breath, it only takes, was it 90 seconds or something to completely change of what, like a direction to where you were heading to. But just that 90 seconds and then to add in some of these positive words, I think what could be life changing because like we're up to 1 in 9 women in Australia with lipedema.
Yeah. I heard a stat yesterday on a talk, and it was 20% of women.
1 in 5.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So when are we going to care? When is somebody else going to care? And why are we going to wait for somebody else to care? I'm not.
Absolutely. No. And Chelsey, that was a big part when I got diagnosed, the overwhelm of thinking I have to do all these things, all the things I've mentioned and the nutrition, and it's overwhelming and it's heavy and we're already overwhelmed and often battling several other conditions at the same time. We know there's a really high connection with, Melissa said, ADHD, PCOS, endometriosis, connective tissue disorders like the EDS. So we're often already completely overwhelmed with everything that we need to do. And I really wanted to start to reach women in that overwhelm and give them tools for this is what you can do when you can't do anything else. You still need to love yourself every day. If that's the only thing you can do today, that's important. And that's, I guess, what inspired me to start looking at ways that I can help women with that.
Yes, somatic therapy is so real. Like I say to everyone, do the silent scream. No one can hear you, but do that silent scream. Like get that fist, put it under the jaw, and open your mouth and scream with absolute silence. Do it in the shower. Do it while you're doing your gloves. But you've got to get that out of the body because you're likely to channel that to someone else, you know. But also, if you're channeling it inside, you're renting space in your own body and head that you wouldn't speak to someone else with such kind thoughts, you know.
I was going to read through a couple of our comments of everybody watching on BooB Camp. I was fuming as well when I found out I had lipedema stage 4 on my legs and my arms through social media. So she found out, Clementine found out through social media at the age of 56. And then she found Dr. Lettich on the Gold Coast, who treated my vascular first and then had lower front leg lipo and nearly 5 liters removed. And now she has her life back and not wheelchair bound.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay. So so to be struggling and getting zero help, zero answers. And so hello to everybody watching. Nikki Thompson's watching. Hello, darling. Hi, Catherine. Hello, everyone. Okay, so Medicare needs to come to the party. The expense is horrendous. Flat knit, custom made stockings, lymphatic drain massage. So there is not a lot of support at all. Nikki says reducing stress is such a big part of this condition. Yes. Amanda said, yes, I love that idea, Chelsey. So that must have been about our positive affirmations. So let's start that in BooB Camp, hey? Thanks to you, the word is slowly getting out there. Needs to be a lot more promotion going forward. Yes, Trace, definitely. Definitely as well. So we are seeing more, right, talk about lipedema. We are seeing more advocates. We are seeing it happen slowly. We know that it takes 17 years from what we know as natural health practitioners to get to a GP. That's the general time that it takes, which is the red tape and the ridiculousness of all of this. Run us through some non-negotiables, ladies, now at the stage that you're at, or some of the things that you would like to share to your younger self or share to the ladies that you might have found out, because I don't know if it's going to be what you're going to think when I say this, or what anybody else is going to think of me when I say this, but I have been looking into the peppers, right? I have been looking into the peptides, and I've got to say I am really excited and I'm really open to the peptide talk for our lipedema community. I'm seeing a lot more positives than I am negatives, and I think it might be a something.
Yeah, I take peptides and I know that's going to be with me for life. And I really push back. I can tell you, from someone who lives the lifestyle that I live, that was the biggest brain fart that I could have done. Like going, oh my God, I've got to do this. You know what I mean? But now I'm embracing it. I can see my body is just the inflammation. I'm feeling better, and it works. You
Yeah.
know, that's the key. But also just being kind. Like I now walk higher with my presence, going, okay, I got this. I'm living with this, so I'm going to make you my friend. If I make you my enemy, I'm going to be more sick and I'm not going to get further in life. And I don't know how my mental health's going to cope because mid-age, you already feel invisible. As I said, I refuse to feel invisible moving forward. And I know that if this is living with me, this disease, and it is a disease, I need to understand that if I can't bend and pick up or open up a jar when I'm older, I'm going to be in trouble. So I need to put the systems in place now and each pillar be very mindful of what I'm doing to build up the strength, not the mental strength, but also the physical strength. So weightlifting for me is important,
Mhm.
and walking, but reducing everything else. Maybe a little bit of yoga, but I can't even do yoga. If I get on the floor, my legs hurt. I can't be in the positions that others can be, which is also quite embarrassing when you go to a Pilates or if you go to yoga. And I fidget. I move, which obviously there's the ADHD in there. So I have to do a lot of things in my home. So my home's now turned into a wellness little spot. It's only tiny, but it's my place. And it's absolutely everything is welcomed. I guess that's the big key with having this. Do not try and hide it. Do not try and dismiss it. It's never going to leave you. So walk side by side with it and
Mhm.
just make really smart choices that are best for you. And those barriers will come and they will trip you up. And I tell you what, I've just gone and bought a whole new wardrobe. But I went, I'm going to do this because I kept thinking, I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to lose the weight. And then I'll buy my wardrobe. Screw that. I've just gone, I'm going to be as beautiful and as vibrant as I can in my new wardrobe, knowing that it's going to make me feel secure because I don't want to show my arms and I won't. So, I buy my summer wardrobe in winter where I get it cheaper, but I go crazy. And it's little things like that that also fill my joy cup. And
Mm.
I think, it's just the smaller little things. You don't have to go for the big goals, go for the small goals.
Yeah, I remember my first client with lipedema, lympho, like both. But she lost 20 kilos with me. And the day that she came in wearing a mini skirt was like, oh,
Love.
she rocked it. Fucking rocked it. And just made my day. But like things like being able to tie your shoelaces up, like yeah, being able to walk comfortably and just like own it, like you said. Nikki talks about how she feels like a rock star in the swimming pool
Yeah, she,
because you know yeah, so do those things that fills your cup. Yeah.
Yeah,
Holly.
absolutely. Yeah, look, Chelsea, I think my biggest non-negotiable at the moment is not stop talking about it. So, I don't love turning up here and chatting to everyone about it, but it's so important at the moment. And I actually think it's a really exciting time for women with lipedema. I think we're going to just see so much information over the next decade come out, so much support, and I just feel so honoured to be part of that journey because every time a woman turns up and I get to embrace her and support her on her journey, she's already been through so much. She's been carrying this mainly on her own with judgment from the
Yes.
medical community and her family and herself for so long that, yeah, it's really just so beautiful to be part of that supporting. And my other non-negotiables, I love my sauna, my infrared sauna. If I can't do anything else, I jump in there and have a good sweat and a good cold plunge. And nutrition's a big one for me because I love eating well anyway. So I guess I'm lucky that that's a big one that I want to do. And my detox supplements,
Yeah.
anti-inflammatory detox supplements, fluid, my gloves. I don't have them here right now to show you, but doing my own self-lymphatic massage as well,
Yeah.
and compression.
yeah.
Yeah. Do you
Keep
notice
treating
the days
myself.
you use it?
Yeah.
Do you notice the days that you don't use your gloves?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I notice if I don't use it for a few days,
Yeah.
I definitely, I'm puffier
Pulling
and
my
more
one eye.
fatigued. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It makes a huge difference. And my clients have all reported that as well.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
just 2 minutes, just starting with the gloves is something. And then you've got your movement, your slow type of movement, making sure that all of your joints are moving, just some self-love, some self-touch, massaging in your lymphatic cream. Like feel your body. Like you said, like become friends. Like you can't hate your body
Absolutely.
healthy.
No, no, no.
Magnesium everywhere. Your magnesium
Yeah,
spray.
yeah.
I've got one in my car. Like
Mm.
literally, it just comes with me everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, the
absolutely.
magnesium because of the arnica in that, right? And the castor oil, the MSM, like it is it's a great mixture
Yeah,
of the magnesium. And then using the compression
yeah.
as well.
Huge
Um,
difference.
huge.
Mm.
It's nearly a non-negotiable
Yeah,
having a pneumatic pump. So doing that pumping. And that's why I love our harmonizing mats
yeah,
too. So using the heat as well as the pulse electromagnetic field frequency, the terahertz frequency, and saunaing, as well, that continually detox, that moving the fascia, the wobble boards, the bouncing, the jumping, the movement where you can.
yeah. I use my mat every day, Chelsea, and my clients now, when I massage them on the mat, they come back and the first thing they say is, "Can I have the mat today, please?" Because
Yes,
it's like 3 hours of lymphatic massage in one,
yeah,
and along with it's incredible. But I
yeah,
think the other non-negotiable, I really think for every woman with lipoedema is like, don't start loving yourself now. Start feeling beautiful now because this is a chronic progressive condition. And yeah, we can really improve the way we feel within it, and the pain factors. And there's a lot we can do to halt that or even reverse the stages. But
yes.
don't wait until you've done that to know that you're worthy and that you're beautiful and that you're allowed to feel gorgeous in your body, no matter how it's presenting right now. You're so much more than just this lipedema body and diagnosis. So don't wait. Start doing that now.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely. Oh, Eloise, a chai? Yes, please, honey. Yes, thank you. The coffee van's downstairs. Woohoo!
You're ordering.
Yes. All right. So we've got some comments as well. We've got lots of comments now coming through. Um, um, I've battled with endo for many years. Um, thank you. The world is slowly getting out there. Like, it needs a lot more promotion. So we promise that we were going to keep on doing this, everybody. I've missed the first part. Would love to watch the rest. Yes, it is recorded. You can rewatch in BooB Camp all the time. The WHO, oh, we don't like them. But anyway, they put it on the map in 2019. Ripper. Go WHO. Woohoo. I have the mat. Is it okay to lie on your stomach and face being using the mat? Yes, you can lay on your stomach, or Emily told me today because she hasn't been well. So she's been at home with the flu. She's been laying and she's had the mat like crystal size, like on top of her body, like causing like a Emily sandwich with the mat on top of her as well. What are the peptides called? The peppers called. We can talk a little bit about that. I've just started a natural pepper. And why we're saying pepper, ladies, is because this is an unregulated, not approved, on trial, because the government can't test it properly. Right. So this is why we have to talk in riddles, because we don't want to be shut down talking about these things. Okay.
Can I check there too? Also, I get my bloods done. My methylation isn't great. So that's a key
Yes.
marker as well. And I actually take supplements now to help me with my methylation. So I forgot to add that in.
Are you an over or under methylator?
Under.
Yeah, I'm an over.
Okay.
I'm an
So
under.
I can under, yeah. So I can't have activated vitamins. I can't have activated Bs. So when we talk about activated, just for to let everybody know, when the vitamin comes along to the liver, so it's coming along like in a conveyor belt. If you are an undermethylator and that vitamin B comes, your liver probably doesn't have the capacity to open up the box and get the B out of it. So when you put in an activated B, means that the B is already out of the box. And so your liver can use it. With me, I'm an overmethylator. So when that activated B hits, I go, woo, woo, woo. And I'm like super hypo crazy. And like I don't drink soft drinks, so I've never had a coffee. So you can imagine me on activated Bs. Like I'm a sort of a psychopath even more than what I am. So yeah, methylation is definitely, find a doctor that does methylation pathways, please.
Yeah, and absolutely, and I do see that with most of
Or a naturopath,
yeah,
yes.
the lipedema, as well as with the ADHD as well. It's very common. I was actually diagnosed a month before my lipedema diagnosis. But methylation also is so important in the other conditions, like the estrogen related PCOS and endometriosis. It's a really big factor, I think, here, particularly because then you're looking at your detox pathways.
Yes.
So if we're getting all congested and we're not eliminating properly in this toxic kind of world,
everything's just starts
yeah,
to.
and then inflammation, insulin resistance, and it's just this whole big soupy cycle.
Yeah, just a blocked toilet. You know,
Yeah.
and you might be pressing, like it can only be pressing like the half flush all the time. Like
Yeah.
the full flush doesn't work.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Yes, more info. Yes, melatonin was promoted as an inflammation reduction tool on the news last week. I agree. Walking and strength training. Yes. Thank you, Melissa. I love that advice. So that would have been the advice that you gave about the weights and the walking and all the other 20 other things that you said too, which were amazing. Tracy, I was diagnosed 7 years ago only because my GP was diagnosed as well. Yeah.
My GP also is diagnosed, and that's why,
Okay.
yeah. So my GP is an advocate because she had it and she has it, part of me, and that's why I've gone. And my physio is also a lipedema physio, so she's got it too.
Okay. That doesn't fucking make you angry.
That's why my poor physio, can I share? I
Yeah.
can come in really like zen, but when I lose it, right? That's the ADHD in me. And I walked in, and that poor woman, she gave me these little compressions and got the measuring tape out, and I roared. But I had that ugly cry, snotty nose thing going on. And then at the end, I went, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I held on to all that grief. The GP never got it. I was like, oh, okay, yep. There was a validation. But the moment I had to go and see my first session with my physio, that's it. That poor woman,
Reality.
reality hit. And when she said she had it, that's when I imploded. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You found a safe space.
that's what it was. I found my people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was no more gaslighting. There was no more. I just like validation, tick. This is a real disease, tick. I'm in a safe space, tick. I can be authentic, tick. Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I can be accepted for me, not just what I like what you see in the mirror.
Because I
Um,
don't look, because if you look at me, I don't look like
no.
you wouldn't know until you see me on a bed or and you go, oh, there it is. But I cover it so well. That's why it was so hard for people to, and every time I went to a GP, they never asked me to pull my pants down. Like they never said, show me your skin. Never.
And how many surgeries have you had, Mel?
33.
33. So in 33 fucking surgeries,
Mm.
no one has even picked that up.
Not even reconstructive surgeons. Oh, no, they did pick it up. They said to me, not lipedema, you have a fat gene.
Yeah.
But the saddest thing is, if I didn't go and do all this weight sleeving, all this stuff that I had to do, and they diagnosed with lipedema, I would have been fine at 31. And I
Yeah.
wasn't. Like, I had to have a partial hysterectomy at 31.
Mm.
No one told me I had all this other stuff going on. And they're going, oh, we'll do a bit of lipo, we'll do a bit of whatever. But they weren't treating my disease. They actually added more pressure to my
Yeah.
disease. That's the
Like how many women are getting liposuction and different body image
dysmorphias.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
and treatments like done by surgeons who have got no idea that they're even looking at lipedema fat.
Me. Yeah, it's sad. That's where the anger comes through. That's where the grief of the old, the grief of that inner child. Like we've got to dance with that inner child, that little girl. She's got to come out and go, I was perfectly perfect just the way that I was. Let me not have that shame around it because there is that guilt of I wasn't good enough for myself. I should have picked that up myself. We're not
Mhm.
educated. We're not taught to put on makeup as a girl. We're not taught these things. We have to walk the path to find the truth.
And I love that about grief, Melissa. Like when you think of edema and any kind of swelling and congestion, yeah, the sort of emotionally they say unshed tears. And so, yeah, I wonder how many of us with lipedema haven't had our voices like and that expression and that chance to really just let go and release and cry. And when we do that, I feel like that maybe shifts something and makes room, yeah, for us to really step into who we're meant to be in our bodies and our lives.
My path is to make sure that I'm there for every woman that will find
Mhm.
me. My people will find me.
Yeah,
I will hold them,
yeah,
and I will say, you are beautiful. Do you need a hug? Do you need me to hold space? Do you need me to unblock barriers? Do you need me just to say, what do you need? Let me be your catalyst. This is the person to go to. And I think it's important that we all have a community where we share. We share the pool so that way we can reach more women. And that's why I love what you do, Chelsey. You've been able to open up a Pandora's box, really. And now we're able to say, hey, that's me. I would never have admitted publicly where I'm at. There's no way I would ever share because I had so much shame around it. Now it's like, no, everyone that wants to listen, I'll have a chat, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's one more lady who then does the same. And then it's one more, and then they get to talk to their daughter.
It's a
And then
daisy
mm,
they,
chain.
yeah, it's a
yeah,
beautiful daisy chain. Yeah.
yeah. And
Um,
there's so many terrible things about social media that are talked about all the time. But for this, women are finding out about lipedema because we and others are on here talking about it and
Positive.
sharing our experiences. And sometimes that's the first time that a woman will say, hey, she's got my legs. Hey, they're my arms. I need to look into this.
yeah.
So yeah, I think it's so exciting that we have this opportunity to reach women before they get to the point that we got to, Melissa.
I
Mm,
agree. I do agree.
mm.
Just a couple more comments. How do you ask your GP for methylated blood tests, Holly?
If you've got a really good sort of integrative GP, you can just go and talk to them about it. Otherwise, probably seeing a naturopath and looking at some of the other testing.
Mel?
Otherwise, yeah. Otherwise, you can look. Sometimes it'll be obvious if you're homocysteine and B12 and some other markers are sort of showing up. Mm.
Histamine markers will really show up.
Yes, histamine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you've got somebody who's really great at looking at bloods and you get your full blood panels plus extras sort of done, then it should
Mm.
show up. So it's not like you're asking your doctor to go be above and beyond when you're asking to check your methylation pathways. Yeah, to find out if you're an over, because you should know. Like we should
Mm.
know these things. It's what's going on.
Our blueprint.
Yeah. They say venous insufficiency is linked to lipedema.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. We want to stop that leakiness. We want to, so structure, calcium and structure of your skin and of your tissue is
Mm.
what it's all
Connective
about.
tissue. Yeah, yeah. And because that often will then contribute to your lipedema symptoms, the heaviness in your legs. If you've got that leakiness in your veins.
Yeah, leaky, sticky. So
Yeah.
sugar is
Yeah.
sticky. This is metabolic, like glucose. You have to get rid of the sugary foods.
Yes.
And the
Yeah.
high fructose corn syrup.
I,
Oh, that
yeah,
one's one of the worst. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
The surgery is related. I've found it has got worse because of surgeries. Yes.
And
Cutting in scar tissue, blockages, damage.
You
Yeah.
can't remove fascia, but you can keep damaging it, you know?
Yes. Now, when I hurt my body, they say it is osteoarthritis and inflammation. Me 20 years ago on thighs now need to be redone because the heaviness is putting pressure on my knees. This time, a professional who knows what to do and is compassionate as well, definitely. At the age of 17, I was trying to explain to my GP that my skin felt thick. I was overweight then, but I knew I wasn't overweight then. I need glasses. But I knew something just wasn't right. I saw my medical records years later when moving to Australia from New Zealand, and she had written notes where I was paranoid and having delusional thoughts.
Yeah.
I just feel like tapping for,
Mm.
for all of this. Yes. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
Carried that internally all those years. She never spoke about my concerns again until I recently finding out that it is all real and it has a name. And that has been a relief as well as a grief.
Yeah.
Okay. Take us through, we've got a little bit of time left. Oh, first of all, I'll chat just a little bit about the peppers. So a lot of people are on a GLP-1. You've got the Mounjaro and the Ozempic and all of those things. I am not a fan of a GLP-1. I am a bigger fan of a GLP-3 because then we're working on gut lining and we're also working on liver. So the Ratatouille, if we can, I can't talk in proper names, but the RETA one, that is something that I have been looking into and that I am quite a big fan of. Also the anti-inflammatories like the BPC 157 and the TB 500 cycling with those, the copper peptide, the KPV, like there is a lot. There is a lot when it comes to the peptides, but hey, peppers, from the trials that we have been doing in-house with my staff and my family, are blowing my mind. And I need to find the right person to speak in here about it, and share with the community
I have
about
a lovely
peppers.
person that I will send you a message.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
That would be great, Mel. Yeah. Holly, so can you just talk us through what support at programs and what you offer? Thank you, my love, of what you offer, ladies with lipedema.
Yeah, so in clinic, I offer lymphatic packages. I call them my lymphatic reset. But I'm way out west in Queensland, so that's not always easy to get to. So online as well, I offer naturopathic support, and I am working on my new project, Lipoedema Love Co, which is inspired by my journey with lipedema, and a range of products and a diary and a beautiful oil to apply to your heart every day and remind yourself how beautiful you are. And some flower essences and crystal essences that really support that journey back to self acceptance and self worth and
Because
self love.
it's important to have something you can touch, you can smell, you
Yeah,
can
yeah,
feel.
yeah,
Okay, you can
yeah.
say, you can think. So you've
Yeah.
got to cover the whole basis.
Yeah, and I'm a metabolic balance practitioner as well. So I've always been a weight loss sort of coach, because that's been my own area of fascination. So I definitely still help women find their inflammatory triggers and work on their insulin resistance and target their metabolic health from that direction. But yeah, I just think I'm so much more passionate about really helping them to have something physical to remind them on the days that they're like, fuck it, this is too much. I don't want to do any of this. I just want to cry. I'm in pain. I hurt. It's too hard. Just to have some kind of anchor to know that you're still worthy, you're still beautiful, and wake up again tomorrow and we'll do something else.
And
Mm.
ladies listening to this, please know that BooB Camp, you are allowed to vent. You can do that, fuck this day, because I'm sure that the other ladies will be feeling the same. So you don't even doesn't have to be just lipedema related. It could be anything related. Okay. So please, open invitation, press live, chat, tell us where you're at. type it in or just type in an X that I'm not feeling good, today. Even if you want to go anonymously, I can never say that word properly, but chuck it in, let us know. Let us be there because we have such amazing practitioners who have done our Lymphatics Alive workshop. Ladies, you've both done it, and it's beautiful connection that we have with each other coming in, and we have a great family of practitioners, and they're all in this BooB Camp group as well to support you too. Mel, tell us about what your offerings are.
So, integrative facialist is what I do based in Melbourne, but I also have a hybrid online. So, I teach mental health first aid, but I'm also got that science where I've done my psychology, I've got my counselling, and I'm at Macquarie doing my lipedema practitioner. So, I can actually connect with allied health as well. So, but I am very holistic. So, it's all about the nutrition. So, as a registered nutritionist, I can help you with that as well. But it's mainly about the fascia, releasing the fascia, and also working with the detoxification, but the acceptance. So, more the counseling side, the holistic counseling side, where you feel safe, heard, and validated, is where I play and where I love to play because that actually opens up so much healing space.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Couple of more comments. Lynn, at the age of 17, I was trying to explain to my GP. Oh no, I've done that one. Chelsey's ads made me look into it. Great. I don't want to be on Ozempic, or that other one. No, I think a GLP-3 is a lot better. Great advice. Thank you. Yeah, grateful. Thank you, Julie. Yes, being alone. Yes, so grateful for this chat. Do you have to be a practitioner to attend the LAW, the lymphatic? Tracy, do you mean my lymphatic practitioner? No, you don't. Like you might want to just learn more about your body, and you might want to be able just to help your family. You can come and learn how to do the lymphatic massage. You can learn all about the lymphatic system. You can just come and be hugged with us and spend some time together. And saying that, like we've got our boob cruise.
Oh, I'm so excited.
We are boob cruising together in March. So, just to be able to hug, laugh, cry, yell, rub boobs. So yeah, in March, if you're interested in coming, please type in cruise and then we'll give you the link. I think we've got nearly 100 women coming, Mel.
I can't wait to hug everyone.
Oh,
And to get in your bikinis and not worry about how your body
yes.
looks because you're going to be surrounded by so many
Body
beautiful,
art. Let's just paint that beautiful bodies.
limpy,
Body
lippy
art.
ladies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Mel, you
Yeah.
are officially on the organisation list now.
Yes.
With body art, like I am in. Like if we're painting each other, like woo.
Yes.
It's a
Yes.
great idea.
Oh, yeah. So just building the community, building awareness, offering to help. That's if we can create a better space, because I tell you, the world, it's everything's looking bleak.
Safe
It's
space.
fucked. It's
Yeah.
fucked. We are so it's bleak. So this is where we have to create our own. So the system is broken.
Find
Okay.
our joy.
The system's broken, so we just create our own. We create our own system. We get together and we help each other up when we need to. And when there's more information, we add it. And when something's not working, we change. And when there's something better comes along, we change and we add that. So none of us here are claiming to be experts on anything. We're just sharing our experiences in this world. I don't have lipedema or lymphedema, but if I can have a platform, you can see if I can share my platform with any concerns that's going to help women, then we're all in.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything that you wanted to? Any last comments or questions, ladies, on BooB Camp? Yes, stick together for support. Yes, definitely. I complained of my legs of feeling like concrete. I've struggled with weight loss for years and have been struggling to find the right formula for me for years. Yeah. Yeah. And you're going to find something, and then something better will come along, and then you think, oh, I can add that or I can do that. As long as I think you're doing, I, this is
My
not something you can put on the shelf, right?
Mm.
This is not something, I'm sorry, that if you decide to put your head in the sand and go, "Oh, that'll be a next week problem," it's definitely going to be a next week problem.
You got to ride the wave, and being uncomfortable with being uncomfortable is where you want to be because you've got choice.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing, you know. And what people think of you is none of your business. So just do it anyway. Don't worry about what people think now. That's the biggest takeaway, you know.
Yeah.
Mm. And
Yeah.
you're not going to be alone in this anymore. If you've already arrived here, you've got so many women that you can sort of say you're struggling in boot camp, say you need some help, ask for some extra support, find another practitioner to help with your mental, physical, emotional, spiritual journey.
And
Because it
share your
helps.
wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Share the fun side as well. It's perfectly fine. Share how you had that conversation or how you found out, or share it with us, because there's a lot of scrolling. Everyone spends, like, was it 10 hours a day or something scrolling? We may as well be doing something proactive.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. All
And
right, ladies. Any finishing comments?
no, just thank you so much for allowing us to
Yeah.
share our story, our lived experience, and hopefully, even if we've touched one other woman to make a change and go and speak to a GP, I'm so grateful.
Yeah, and thank you, Chelsey, for this opportunity. I by sort of revising some of the stuff I know, I just found my passion again for this. And we should maybe have another chat, Melissa, another time about the complexities of ADHD
Of course.
and lipedema, because it's sort of what I found is you'll do everything for like 6 weeks and then all of a sudden you drop everything and you have to start all over again, and that alone can be a bit disheartening and exhausting. So we could we could chat about
Yeah.
that another time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you two get together, figure out a
Yeah.
date, let me know,
Yeah.
and I'm sure everybody in Boob Camp would also love to hear that too.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. Big love, ladies. Thank you,
Amazing.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
for the community.
everyone. Thanks,
And
Charles.
yeah, talk soon. See you all on
Right.
Boob Cruise.
Yes.
Yay.
Bye.